Hello, welcome to another one of my vids. What we're doing here, I've got 3 watches ready for refurbishment. They all work to some degree, some better than others, but none of them's running well. So I'm looking at the middle one first. They're all in excellent condition, they're quite a good buy. But this one I've got here is a 7S26, which is a sort of bread and butter Seiko. Cracking watch, but I've done, most of the watches I've done have been 7S or of that family. So I'm just sort of going through and deciding which one to do next. As I said, they all run to some degree. This one does run for a few hours, but it's not running very well. It's got really short hands on as well, which it does look quite good actually. So it's definitely a nice one to do. And then I've got that one. That one's I've had that one quite a while, and it's a bit. It's a 5126. It's 21 joules, and it's a bit of an expensive one. It's very old, 71 to 72. They're only made them for about 2 years, something like that. So it is a bit rare, and it was from in my range. It was quite expensive. I want to do it. It doesn't run. That's probably the worst running of all the 3 watches. But I don't want to do it, and it's. I'm looking at the back here, and it's waterproof. It's got a proof watch, which means it was made before the date where it was America who started it. So they had to change it because when you build a watch and all the different people have got it, some look after them, some don't, and they were vulnerable for water leak, and people were thinking that they're waterproof. They'll be waterproof, and that's that, but they're not quite. So they changed it to water resistant, which is still going today. This is a proof watch, waterproof it says on back on the stamp, so it gives it a little bit more edge and puts it in very early 1970s. So I want to do it, but it's more like a Swiss watch on the rewind, and I'm just not confident enough to do it yet. I'm not good enough. I want a bit more experience, because after all, I've only done about 10 watches, 10, 11 watches since wrist watches. I've done some pocket watches, so as you could no doubt see, I'm still learning. Now then, this baby, and I must admit, I was always going to do this anyway. Really, this is a Seiko Actus, and it's a 7129, I believe. I'm just checking my notes. Yeah, no, it's a 7019. Late 70s, Japanese domestic market, or a JPM, which makes it more desirable, and it's in excellent condition. The crystal's like a bubble, it's like a curved, very profound curve on it. Really nice, really good condition. The dial is beautiful. It's a crosshair. It's called a Seiko. Well, it's nicknamed crosshair because it's got a fine cross across the dial. And it's like a very dark navy. It's a lovely colour, really nice. I really like it. So I did want to do that, and it's a different type of Seiko, but it's related to the 7000 series that I've been doing. So I just thought I'd give that a go. So I put some wine in it, and I do have a look. It does run. This runs 20 minutes with a good wind, so it definitely needs doing. I'm just trying to get the seconds on to move there. But no, I'm quite excited about this. I got it for a reasonable price. Well, I got it for 50 quid off eBay, but, and here's the but, there's a surprise in store. And it's not the balance wheel, but you'll see. No spoilers. You have to watch a little bit longer. So I'm going to take the back off and have a look inside it. And so the back. Well, it's a snap-on back, and I'm pricing it off there. And it's in really good condition. It looks just a few years old, not whatever 70s, 40 years ago, something like that. It's really, the whole thing is in good condition. And I open that up, and there's the movement, and it's sparkling. It really looks in good condition. Quite pleased. Can't see anything wrong with it at this stage. I'm just sort of making sure the date works, time adjust, making sure that the winding mechanism is actually turning the barrel, which it is. I didn't see anything. I'm slightly surprised at that plastic dial ring around the edge of the movement. You get them in the more modern watches. At this point I'm like, oh okay, and I'm looking for any further identification of the movement, because it's got Seiko on, because you can buy some, and I bought one, and call them Mumbai specials. It was advertised as a Seiko, and it's a cheap Indian movement, not very good at all. But this were all Seiko stamped, so I carried on at this stage. So just about to, once I make my mind up which one I'm doing, having a look and making sure there's no too bad. I'm making sure I'm manually putting the wind in here. I'm overriding the automatic winding mechanism, and I'm going to put it on the time grapher and see what it gets, because when it's fully wound it does run. It doesn't look very strong when you look at the balance, so I stick it on the time grapher. And there it is on the time grapher. And it's barely registering. It's ticking away, but it picks up a signal, then it loses it, picks it up again. So it's very weak. It's very erratic. I get lots of what I call a snowstorm. So it's time to. At this point, it's time to get in, pull it apart, and investigate. And this is where we start now. Excuse me. So it's on the. So on the bench, I'm just putting my finger cuffs on there, because it does. What you do realise when I get in this one, you do see it has been lubed. Someone's had a problem with it, because someone has been inside it, because there's some. Well, I know they have. And it's. I'm hoping I think the oil stopped it, and I'm hoping it just wants that cleaning up. So. I took the weight off there, the winding weight, and what I need to do is remove the stem, the adjustment stem, so I can get it out of the case. Because at this point I'm nervous that there's something not right, and it gets confirmed in a second. So I just pull the stem out, and it's just a question of pulling it out on the movement ring, and we'll have a look at that gorgeous dial. It really is nice. It's a cracker. So I put the crown back in, because what you're supposed to do is take the hands off when they're together, 1:05, for example, something like that. So you just leave them all as one. It's something I haven't done in the past. I forget about it, to be honest. So I'm doing this. I want to make a good job of this, because it's a cracking watch, and it's one for my collection, and it might be worth a few bob one day. So. I really want to go to town on this one. I'm going to try hard to get this one going, rather than I sort of brush through them, really, I suppose, as I'm sure that comes out in the previous videos. So just taking the hands off, that's quite straightforward. You do this on all watches. If that was a Rolex, an Omega, it's the same thing. It's, most watchmakers use that technique. So whipping the hands off and taking the dial off. The day dial, the day disc, was a bit odd. It didn't quite line up, so I have to do something with that a bit later. We'll see. I'm just going to pause at the moment, so excuse me. I need to just pause. Yeah. So I just had to interrupt it there a little bit. So if you see the jump, if you hear the jump, you know why. But obviously I'm taking the dial off now, and as soon as that dial's off, I store it somewhere safe, because that's, as I say, it's a bit nice. It's quite tasty. But it gives me a dilemma here, and it's at this point I realise I've been eBayed. That is not the movement I wanted. That is not a 7019 at all. It's a 7S. It's a 7S 26, which is excellent movement. It's a reasonably modern one, and it ain't the one I wanted. Basically, it's not made in 1974. It's a bit of a Franken watch. It's been messed around with. So I'm a bit peed off at this moment. So, but the dial is good. I'm going to keep that. Obviously, I'm going to put it back. But it's not the watch I bid on. And to be fair to eBay, or the eBay guy bought it off, I contacted him, told him it's not the movement, no, and it's all in bits, and he gave me 50% back. So I'm happy with that. 25 quid for the case, a movement, which I'll get it going, and a cracking dial. So I'm not too bad, but it's not what I wanted. I mean, some watchmakers, some watch repairers, it's sacrilege. It's same dial, same case, same. You don't change anything. But I'm not one of them. I just like to get it going and look nice on your wrist. But yeah, so end of the day, I've got £25 back, and so but I'm a bit miffed. And also I noticed there's a couple of parts different as well. The balance wheel and the main plate, the balance wheel jewel and the main plate jewel are different. So it's had a different balance wheel. That's got an older balance, because you can tell with the Diashock system it's a bit different. No big deal. I've done it myself on my watches, but it all adds up, and I'll show you later. So it's not going well now. I'm a bit peed off. I've lost a bit of wind out of my sails, really. I just seem to get problem after problem with watches sometimes, and sometimes I just fly through them. I've had a bit of a bad run, really. I've got several on my computer waiting to finish. I've got the SEMA, what I posted a while ago, still waiting parts. I'm building up a 7S, which looks nice. So I'm still waiting parts for that. I need a new dial for that. No, it's not a 7. It's a 705 gold one of the first watches I did. So you do it sticking points in this. Well, I do in this hobby. So some can take a year, 18 months to get back together. I've still got my very first wristwatch I did, which I got running, and I wore it till I had a problem with the strap. And it snapped the case. That's my part's been waiting, but it'll come to life again. So I've got no choice now to pull it apart and get it going. I don't see anything. It really is in good condition. The old movement looks okay, but I do see, when I take the balance off, I do see where we're at, and that is oil. It's been oiled, and you do put oil in watches, this is true, but you put a dot, imagine a full stop on it, and a A4 sheet of paper, it's half that. It's a little tiny dot on the end of the arbor. It's no more, and this is, you'll see what I do on this one as well. I put up some microscope footage in there, and you see that soft cushion I've got there. You see the oil left on there. It's amazing, because they never run. They just don't. It's like WD-40. They may run for 5 to 10 minutes just to, why you just blow dust off and that, but it don't damage the watch long term. It protects it, because as long as you put it in somewhere safe and dry, like a pants drawer or something like that, and it's out of the way, it's okay. But it's never going to run until it's been looked at, serviced and stripped down and clean and re-lube. So taking it all apart here, and what I do on this one as well, the keyless works, where the stem goes in, what does your adjustment of time and date. I keep it in because it's lovely and clean, and I think, well, bugger it, I'm not taking it apart just for taking it apart's sake. So it's all in bits apart from that, because there's no need. I'll put a few spots of grease in the right place when I start getting it back together, because as I say, it is clean. Couldn't see anything obvious until I go on the other side, and then there's a plate missing. It's a very small plate with 2 jewels in it. And if you remember, or if you follow my look at the other videos, I had it a couple of watches ago with a Seiko, and it was on back order from cousins for quite a while. But luckily, I bought two. They were only pounds, a few pounds, and I thought, bugger it, I'll buy two. Well, it's coming. When this watch is flipped over and I see it, that part is missing. So I'm really fed up now because it's not the watch. It's been played around, but it's got a wrong balance wheel, a different balance wheel on, and this stop and plate's missing. So I'm like, shit. But I think of that gorgeous, sexy dial, and I'm happy again. I don't know. I'm just thinking now at this point when I'm doing the watch, where is that plate? Where did I put it? But I found it in. I have several drawers now, which I've labelled up for various movements. A quick rummage, and it was there, still in the plastic bag, brand new part. So that'll go on shortly. And what you can do as well on here, I don't know if it shows up very well, it's as I get deeper inside it, it really is covered in oil. And it's very apparent. And the shots where I take the movement off the pad, you can see the state of my pad. It's saturated in oil. So it's all pretty much falling apart. I haven't seen anything wrong apart from the oil. So and I'm also going to focus more on my cleaning as well because I've got to stretch this cleaning fluid out because it's expensive. So I find the part in the part of what we're referring to what's missing. I do actually find one. I do find it in my little pile of spares. That's coming very handy. So it's pretty much all stripped. I've got that plate, that stopper plate. So what I need to do now is we decided to get it all under the microscope. The balance wheel is going to be the first one because I need to have a look at that. So let's put it under the microscope before I clean. And this is where we go to now. There's something's a bit out of focus here, so it might make you feel a bit queasy. But don't sue me, please. What I'm looking at here, the first bit is the coils of the spring. And you can see it's pretty good. There's a bit of stiction there where two sticking together. Now, if you notice, this is a silver balance wheel, and it's one of my spares. I believe it or not, I have got a spare, and I want to see how good it is. So you can see that terminal curve. It's not perfect. I've never seen one perfect. Actually, I don't think it can be. It depends on the structure. But I'll focus in now. I'll focus on the pivot end. And that dark area, you see the white pip in the middle. Well, that dark area surrounding it is crud. It's like my hand was. It's like a V shape fitting in to its receiver, and that was all crud. So that definitely needs coming off. This is the balance wheel I took out of the movement. I look at that straight away on there, and I go to the coils. Again, you've got a very short gap between your rate adjust and your beat adjust. So I think that's why that terminal curve is a bit, it's a bit strained. I think that will flatten out, but the curves are pretty good on that. Can't see anything wrong. The pivot, apart from the pivot is there. That's what I'm looking at because you want to make sure it hasn't snapped. But as you can see, those two levers are quite close. It's not rough, and you haven't. Well, I've never had them that close together. So that's the impulse jewel there. That's a critical part. That is the bit what sits into your pallet fork and gets thrown from side to side, making the tick and tock. So what I'll do now, put the base plate and the various wheels under the microscope. I'm just filming. I've got the camera. I've got my phone just filming off my main screen now. So I don't know what it's going to look like. And I'm looking for anything amiss and the state of it. Under a microscope, they do look worse than what they are. But this is what I'm focusing on, the jewels. You're looking for broken ones. I have had a broken one before. Or just crud, because even in the cleaning machine, the crud, when I mean by crud, is like crusty, dried on stuff. It doesn't really remove it. What you're better off doing is what you call pegging them. And I've got some plywood and various bits to push it in and scrape it off. But what I'm doing now to save my cleaning fluid, I'm washing. I've got a small pot
and I wash it in hot water and just dishwashing liquid. And I feel I'm quite safe to do that because immediately after, before it dries, it goes in the parts washer where it's waterless, and that displaces any water, so I'm not going to get any rust. So, and while it's in my little tray, I can get a brush and a bit of water in all them holes and give them a bloody good clean and get all the crud out. And, it's something I haven't paid attention on. If I'm honest, I've let it slip. I believe that's that part I found. It's only a small tiny plate and there's the tiniest screw on it, but it just sits at base of 2 jewels. I think it's the third and fourth, second and third wheel. And there is there's a little mark on them. And I just scrape it off just to see if it'll come off with the I mean, you can see the tweezers at this level, they look disgusting, but I assure you they are kept clean. But you can see that little cry, just get it off there. It's going to be clean proper, so I was just poking it. So all this is going to be scrubbed and clean. As I say, I need to pay more attention, and I can get a watch running. Pretty confident I can get a watch running. I've had some good results, but when you look at the other videos, some of these guys who I follow a lot, vintage watch services, wristwatch revival, he's very popular. And it's very entertaining, very simple. But they do get better results, and they are more experienced, but they are more detailed. And I'm focusing now on not just getting it running, but getting it running well and doing all the right things. Good practice rather than just banging them out. You can see the oil on my pad as well on this. So this cleaning, I always give them a clean, but there has been times where I've just put them in the parts washer. This cleaning liquid I've got is £70 a pop for clean and rinse. So obviously the less dirt into the watch when it goes in, it's less dirt. Your cleaning fluid is going to last longer. And but simply, it's better practice, and I need to get that better. But it's all learning. This is a pallet fork, and the jewels, the tip. I can't film it very well, but the tips on the end, they're the bit where engaging the escape wheel. They are critical. They have to be perfectly smooth, perfectly clean, and I'm struggling to find a good way to clean them. But I just rub them with after the minute wash. I just rub them with a bit of wood with the resin taken out and just scrape it off. You can see the bloody hole up there. It's starting to mount up now, which is not a bad thing. I mean, you get oil in it, it's not going to run, but it's not doing any damage. Could be water, and that would be it'd be crackle. But it is dirty. There's some of the jewels you do, it's not in a particularly bad state. It's not horrific, but it's under the microscope. You do see a lot more, and you've got to figure out what you need to do. This is I think that's the third wheel. So there we go. That's all the parts in the cleaning machine. 20 minutes in each part, one wash and 2 rinses. You've seen that before. You'll see them all on the bench shortly. And I'm going to call the video here and look out for part 2 on the reassembly. Hopefully, now that I've found that part, it'll all go back well. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please give a like, as always. It would be nice. These are all the parts here. And I shall see you next time. Don't forget to watch for part 2, which will be putting it back together. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.